Hi folks, welcome to the channel. This is my thought and my theory. 1 minute you're the best thing since the sliced bread. The next you're a con artist. When Turki Alalshik came onto the scene, oh, he's gonna do great things, he's gonna do this, he's gonna clean up boxing, he's paying all this good money, blah 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 blah. All over the social media they were praising this man. And I made a video 6 months ago and I said, no, he's not. He's going to ruin boxing. He's gonna take over. And they're saying that I'm talking rubbish. That's all I heard on the social media. He's the best thing since sliced bread. But for the past year, boxing has been showered with Saudi money. At first, it seemed like a dream. Fighters making insane paydays, promoters getting huge deals, fans watching big fights we never thought would happen. But what happens when the money stops? What happens when the bait is gone? Because make no mistake, this was never about helping boxing. The Saudis didn't just throw money at boxing out of kindness. This was a premeditated, calculated move. They hypnotized boxing promoters. They waved ridiculous money in front of them. They changed the game overnight. 30 to 70 million per fighter for just one fight. Even paying a boxer $500,000 on 2 days' notice, Martin Bacall. Who does that? Would Frank Warren, Eddie Hearn, or Bob Arum ever have paid 30 to 40 million? So, for instance, like Tyson Fury versus Francis Ngannou, a non-boxer, and another 10 million for Francis Ngannou, a non-boxer. Never in a million years they would have done that. Then came Joshua versus Ngannou, another 40 to 50 million for that fight. Then Fury got 150 million for Usyk, and another 70 million for the rematch. Would any of the promoters would have paid that money? No way, not in a million years. Where does it end? The answer, it was never meant to end. This was never a boxing investment. It was a fishing expedition. They threw sacks of bait into the boxing pond, and they hooked the greedy fish, the promoters. And while everyone praised the fisherman, mesmerized by how much bait he was throwing in, like I said, all over the social media, Turki Alalshik is the greatest thing since sliced bread, blah, 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 blah. They forgot to think about the consequences. Just like in real life, you catch a fish, unhook it, put it back in the pond, and it comes right back to the bait, only to get caught again. Turki Alalshik is the fisherman. But now the fisherman wants a bigger challenge. His employer hands him even more bait and says, go buy the Ring magazine, strengthen our position before we go after the biggest fish. Just like they did in a horse racing. They went and brought Racing Post magazine or the newspaper. Forget the little fish. Go after the biggest one there is. And who's that big fish? Dana White, the UFC boss. For years, he's been swimming in his own pond, answering to no one, paying his fighters peanuts while boxing fighters directing millions. Now the Saudis are coming for him too. This isn't just about making fights. This is about control. They aren't investing in fighters. They're investing in power, owning the narrative, dictating the sport, eventually controlling everything. And here is why it won't work long term. Boxers are now tasting astronomical paydays, and there is no going back. Fury, Joshua, Usyk, and others have earned tens of millions per fight. If the Saudis pull out tomorrow, boxing promoters can afford to match these paydays. Fighters will refuse to fight for less. They'll sit out, wait, or demand more. And who suffers? The fans. Fewer big fights, more contract disputes, more delays. The entire economic balance of boxing is ruined. They claim they want to fix boxing. They say one champion per division will help. Sounds good in theory. But here is the problem. It will reduce the number of fights per year. Elite fighters already fight only once a year. So how many best versus best matchups can they actually make? If a champion is inactive or injured, what happens? The sport needs multiple champions to stay active. Fewer belts means fewer fights, and fewer fights means less money for fighters. Where are Dana and Turkey going to find enough elite boxers to compete? Building an elite boxer takes years. Elite talent comes from all over the world. You can't create superstars overnight. And if they plan to reduce boxing to just 4 weight classes, how will the fighters earn a living? Fans won't pay to watch mediocre fights. Boxers won't fight for pennies. So how exactly is this supposed to work? Dana White won't pay millions for a fight. He's not paying his UFC fighters a good money anyway. He's just paying them a bonus. If boxing is going to survive, promoters need to unite. Forget the rivalries. Frank Warren, Eddie Hearn, Bob Arum, Al Heyman. They need to work together. Why? because the Saudis don't have contracts with the fighters. Dana White doesn't have big money deals like boxing promoters do. Promoters control the best fighters. If they stand firm, they can take back control. Without their fighters, Turkey and Dana have nothing. Let's be clear. Turki Alalshik has done more harm than good. He hasn't saved boxing. He's destabilized it. And now he's coming for the UFC. Dana White thinks he's in control. He's falling for the same trap. And when the Saudis are done with him, where will that leave the sport? Boxers will make less money, especially under Dana White. Fighters will have fewer opportunities. Fans will get fewer fights. This isn't a revolution. It's a takeover. And when the dust settles, boxing and MMA will never be the same again. That's my thoughts. That's my thought, folks. What do you think? Leave any comments below. See you next time.